go ahead. So we're all here. What I'm going to cover with you is really three things. I'm going to cover the session on ethics, the session on the modules on ethics and GCP. I'm going to FDA regulations and drug development. That is a lot around pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics. Okay. Okay, hi. Is that Edith? Edith, who you were there on the earlier session, is that the same Edith or is this another Edith? Okay, fine. So let's continue. So before we start discussing all about clinical trials and the ethics around it, would anyone like to share? Okay, the same, great. Nice to have you back. So would anyone like to share what do you think a clinical trial is all about? Anybody? I mean, you're all, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So clinical trials is, and why clinical trials are there, like, yes, of course, like any drugs needs to be tested preclinically first in animal models. And if there are like good results, then before like introducing, we need to evaluate in small population of the patients to see how adverse events and clinical efficacy and all that. And that is actually seems to be a purpose of the clinical trials before a drug come out in the market.
Super. That was Subhashini.
This is Preeti.
Preeti. Okay, I'm sorry. Thanks, Subhashini. That was a good summary. And you know, right now, it almost sounds cliched, but yes, this country or the world is actually going through an unprecedented crisis. And you're right, Tejal and Preeti, this is about testing the efficacy and safety of drugs. We know, I think, very well that what is happening in the industry right now is very different. Standard pathways are not being followed. In fact, that's one of the things that I will be discussing with you when we discuss, INDs and NDAs and FDA regulations about the different pathways that the FDA follows to enable drugs to be approved, rapidly based on their potential, different types of drug designations that are there in the industry. And right now, the FDA is really doing everything it can to bypass conventional pathways that exist and fast track the approval of drugs that show potential, as I'm sure you're well aware. And I do hope and pray that all of you and your families are safe and well in this critical situation. We hear, I'm sorry, was there a comment?
No, yeah, that's what we all hope for, that I know, like, for one drug to approve, it takes a long time, or any vaccine to also to come out, it's going to take time. So yeah, but this is very different situation we are in right now.
Right. This is indeed a very different situation, and you must be hearing Dr. Fauci's comments, the remdesivir and hydroxychloroquine and Moderna's mRNA vaccine and so many other things that are going on in the industry today. But you must have heard about emergency use authorization. You might have heard about the special programs for accelerating COVID clinical trial approvals. So a lot of very interesting times. And actually, this is a time, if you really understand these pathways, it would be very, very relevant. It's the need of the hour, actually. And one, as you hear, one cannot wait for, well, what's the normal time for getting a drug approved?
12 to 15 months. This is Subhashini, by the way.
I wish it was 12 to 15 months.
And it could be longer.
12 years.
Like 6 to 7 years.
I think who spoke a moment ago?
For one drug to approve, I think it almost takes like 20 years.
How many?
20 years.
Yeah, I think it was Venkatesh who spoke a moment ago, was it? Who said 12 years? Yeah, that is right. So the approximate time is around 12 years.